screen? I am, right? Thumbs up? Perfect. Okay. All right, it's a Friday. Let's have fun. It's probably Thursday for you guys in the evening in North America. So today we're going to cover how to present winning proposals. And if you have been attending, this is a series. So we had series one, two, and three. So for the first series, it was qualifying, opportunity, resources, decision making framework. So we covered that and how to separate your curious prospects to serious buyers, right? And the second one was a lot of the enterprise sales drags. And so we talked about higher win rates by having a shorter sales cycle. And so that was lightning lesson two. So if you haven't had a chance to look at that, please go back to some of the lightning lessons. It's on the Maven platform as well. So just um, just to let you know, I am running this cohort on Maven. It kicks off on December 3 to 19. And then yeah, well, it's supposed to be November, but I saw that it was hitting the Thanksgiving, so I kind of moved it to December 3. Had to talk to some of the people that already enrolled, so please let me know if you have any questions. So just a quick intro. I've been in tech sales, if we haven't met. I've been in tech sales for 27 plus years, and I am an engineer by education, electronics and communications. I think I was the generation that built the mobile networks and the broadband. So right now, I am a sales coach. I advise and mentor founders and also sales teams for large corporates. It's my first love. I love working with high performing salespeople. So in the next 30 minutes, my goal is for you to have at least one tactic that you can apply immediately in your sale in the sales field and that you can start winning. It doesn't have to be big, right? We only have 30 minutes. So that's my goal for today. So set expectations, right? I really want to set expectation because as you know, sales is a big topic in breadth and depth. So this is really, really tactical. We'll cover a few frameworks of what great looks like in examples that you can apply immediately. And I'm hoping something really new that will make you think and change how you run your sales process, your sales strategy. And please give me feedback at the end of the cohort. All right? Thumbs up. Awesome. Thank you. So I've done the welcome and intro. We'll do 90 minutes of how to present winning proposals and then 5 minutes of Q&A. And if you have any questions on the course. So we've all been there. You've done it. You went through the whole sales process. You spoke with a client, have several meetings. Now comes the fun part, right? It's closing the deal and signing that contract. I don't know about you, but for me, it's accelerating. It's like my heart is pounding fast. You're presenting this proposal, and you're like, what's gonna happen next, right? And the more skilled we become, the greater it feels. We learn to communicate the essence of our message from the core of our being. I'm really passionate about helping our clients succeed. And all of the client conversations we've had are justified. So we've covered that in the qualifying phase. Now, unfortunately, and you tell me, okay, in my experience, I mostly lose deals, not to competitors. It's really client not wanting to make a decision. It seems that there's so much fear of change rather than embracing change. Let me know, hands up in the chat. Do you lose more to clients not making a decision, or do you actually lose to competitors? Or you actually don't know what happened? Very often we get ghosted, we spend so much time in proposals, and we don't even get feedback. What's your take on that? Indecision, yeah. Right? Bob? Anything else for everyone? Right? Like unfortunately that's it. And we're gonna go through that, okay? We're gonna go through step by step how to avoid that and how to get our clients committed. So first, I would say we need to fear of spending money, will they get value? Yeah, Bob, exactly, right? That we covered actually the value and logistics issue in the lightning lesson too. But for me, and this is a very strong opinion, and when I started doing this, my hit rate really went up because I started spending time with clients that will win and that I will win and will close the deal. So don't present or submit a proposal if there's no clear value proposition for your client. Like they never acknowledge to us that they understand the value that we're giving. Second, they don't have time for you. They don't have time for us. Very often, our client will say, just submit a proposal. And they don't even want to speak with us. They just want you to email it. If we're spending so much time on a proposal and don't have any feedback, that's a red flag, right? They don't have time. Are they just comparing it? Is it just for exploratory? It depends. But very often, just give me a proposal, we submit a proposal, and that's it. And there's no agreement to move forward. Like if they ask you, hey, Bob, just give me a proposal, give me some pricing, we need to ask. Great, great that you're interested. So once I give the proposal, what's the pricing? How do you want to proceed with this? Is it a business case or do you really want to solve a problem? What's the problem? Like having those kind of conversations earlier on is so important. And the timing or time allocated by our client. Oops, sorry, so fast. So if we've spent so much time with our clients submitting working on proposals, they need to allocate us time, right? But also, if someone, and this is very common in RFPs, request for proposals, especially for big bids for corporate and governments, they're gonna give you like, give me a proposal in a week. I'm like, what? If they ask for an RFP, I hardly join RFP unless I build the RFP. It means that they've already allocated it to someone and they're just comparing, right? So let me know in the chat if this is something that resonates with you. Would really love to hear. I get energy from you guys. So yeah, I'll wait a bit. so so what are the 5 keys? Definitely resonates. Thank you, Jamie. Lots of love. I'm very extrovert. I get energy from people. So 5 keys to a winning proposal, right? So let's get very fast. Present in person, present at the right time, present to the right people, no surprises. And I'll go through all of this in detail. And the fifth one is enable your client to make a decision. This one, a lot of salespeople that I train, they get shocked. Really, Ren? I say that at the start of the meeting. I said yes. And their win rate really went up. Like I am so excited for them. So first, when a client says, "Just email me the proposal," how many of you have heard that? Just email it to me. Just send it to me, right? Very often. Well, that's a big red flag because proposals don't sell. People do. Obviously, we're not talking about $25 SaaS products, right? We're talking about consulting, services, anything that is like kind of like a even 5 figure, I might say, like a 50K, 20K, even a 10K. You know, it's I mean, financially, it's really tough right now for businesses. All the time, Kelly. Oh my God. It's it's so tough now for businesses. So anything like 10,000, right? Like is this an investment? So you have to talk. You have to talk to them. If they tell you just email, I have a few tactics that we can go through that because we don't want to turn off people who's actually really interested and maybe they're just introverts. They don't want to commit first. And by the way, as salespeople, people think we're sleazy, right? Like, oh my God, I'm gonna get pushed into a corner. I don't want to talk to this person. I just want to look at pricing. So that's some of the mindsets that our clients have. But unfortunately, that doesn't help because we're selling to someone who we don't understand what their problem is, right? So first, present in person. So again, I'm skipping some of the things because I had the lighting lesson 1 and 2, right? So at this time, when you're presenting a proposal, my assumption is you've done ORD, opportunity, which is you know what the problem is, you know what the impact is, you know that if they don't do anything, this is the impact and what are the outcomes, and then resources, people, time, and money, and then decision making, like how they make decisions, who's the right person, like, and I'll give you a story of a biggest mistake, one of the biggest mistake I've done, and this was only 5 years ago. So when a client say to send me the proposal, don't don't at all, because no one can present our proposal better than us. So what you can do is try to gain an agreement in person validation. Oh, okay, I just sometimes what I do, I call if they don't pick up, I just say, "Hey, I'm in the middle of the proposal. Let me check some stuff with you." And then they're going to pick up, and you start validating all of the proposal, all of the scope that you have, right? Don't just send it. And then if they want to really understand it, they're going to like, "Okay, let's book a meeting." Or do a Teams online, or even submit the proposal in person, like, let's have a coffee, I'll run you through it. That's the best, right? Like really sitting down with them, because proposals are co-creation. It's just not us, it's them. What's the value to them, what is the logistics, how much are willing to pay for, what are the impacts, right? It's really a dialogue. So example, you've just had a meeting with a client. You understood, okay, Bob, these are my problems, blah blah blah. You've done that meeting, right? That is now your chance. You say, "Hey, Kelly, I believe that after this meeting, I now have a good understanding of what you'd like to accomplish, what resources you want, and how you want to move forward." So this assumption is like you've covered this, right? Now, what I would like to do is meet you. Let's say if you think you can finish it in a week. Again, one of the key things in sales, don't drag it too long. What I've seen in the numbers for really successful salespeople, and even for myself, the fastest turnaround you can do, the quicker the sale is. If you can turn around the next day, depends on what your solution is, or a week, or even on the fifth day, that's the best. So you go like, "On Friday, I would really want to sit with you and cover this. I'll present my solution. You let me know if I got it right. If I don't, let's refine it and what would make sense to you. How is Friday 9 a.m.?" Well, then tell me your time and budget. Then I needed you to be committed. Yeah, definitely, Kelly. So, of course, take it with a grain of salt of how your relationship is with your client, right? You know your clients better. But if they're really keen to solve their problem, they would want to work with you and very open, right? I can only do this time and this amount of money. But you're working on that proposal. So second, present in person at the right time with the right amount of time. Because sometimes it's quite complex. 30 minutes will not cut it, right? Because the very essence of presenting is for them to ask questions, validate, collaborate, and sometimes they still don't know what they really want, and they need our help to contextualize and get through the thinking. And now you as a consultant, or you as the subject matter experts, will be able to tell them what are the several avenues that they can take, right? So one of the common errors that we need to avoid, not having a clearly defined purpose when we present, having unrealistic ending or expectation, not asking for upfront agreement. This one is the tricky part. A lot of salespeople struggle with this. Like, they don't want to be sleazy, they don't want to be pushy, so they don't ask anything. They just present. So, what is the meeting plan? When you think of a meeting plan, most salespeople think about the agenda. But actually, the purpose of a sales presentation is enable your client to make decisions. Of course, you want to provide information, but not just information. The goal is to help people make good decisions in their best interests. So, if the purpose of the sales presentation is enable a decision, you first need to be very clear about what the decision is. What do you want your client to say or do? Now, this is a long list, and I will send the slides with you, but this is something that you need to work on a very quiet time before you present your proposal. You got to ask yourself these questions. What do you want the client to say or do after the meeting? What do you think are the things they need to believe, especially emotionally? Of course, these are facts and data, but at the end of the day, the feelings of our clients really matter. What's their emotional state, right? Why, as you mentioned, Bob, earlier, that just get real. Sorry, I'm just reading the comment of, is it Kelly? Kelly. Just get real life expectations as no one can afford to do anything. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's so tough right now. But also the mindset, Kelly, of if we do this together, what value will I get? So that's a strong conversation to have, because okay, I'm investing this amount of time, but I will be able to achieve my numbers, or I will be able to save time, or I have headspace for something else, or I'll be able to create this. It's really the value. What is the derived value that they're gonna get, right? So have a think through of the list. I know it's a long list, but it will help you build your agenda rather than starting with introductions, you know. So this is one example. Have a look at it. I'm gonna breeze through it because, as I said, we only have a few minutes. And you see this, ask for the decision. You start with number one. I'm going to give an example on how to do that. And then the sixth one, ask for the decision. So present to the right people again. If the decision maker, so again, take this in context, okay? Depending on what your opportunities are, if it's a consulting that you only need to talk to the CEO or the co-founder, maybe, but if you're working on a very big services contract, you have a few decision makers, right? You, especially for corporate clients, you have someone who will endorse it, someone who will actually really say yes, someone who will use it. And for some accounts, you would have a mentor or coach that has been guiding you to that sales process, right? So make sure that your stakeholders are there. I canceled a presentation with a big account, long time ago, 10 to 20 years ago. It was a 40 million euro deal, and the COO at the last minute couldn't attend. We canceled it, and then we rescheduled it when he was there. And these are like very difficult conversations to have, because some of the team members would feel that, okay, we're not important, but you got to take those into consideration, because at the end of the day, nothing will happen. And then no surprises, right? There's a Japanese word called nemawashi, where you build micro commitments throughout the sales process. You build consensus across. So in the early stage, and this is what we covered in Lightning Lesson 1 and 2, you have a validation of the agreed core problem. It's very clear what the problem is. You have outcome and the value that you will deliver. The timelines are agreed and the milestones. And very importantly, the price will not be a surprise to them. You've spoken about a range, and if your client doesn't want to talk about pricing, go back to Lightning Lesson 2, where we covered that one, how to get pricing from the client. And it should have been, I mean, a proposal is almost like just a number on the slide. You've actually spoken about this, and there is no surprises. Okay. And yeah, we're good for time. And enable your clients to make a decision. So this is where I want to really spend a bit of time, because this is the most important part. So what's the ask? So when you start presenting your proposal, what's the first thing that you say? So a lot of people start with their solution, our methodology, or our people. What do you first say? Any answers? Like, how do you start when presenting your proposals? Oh, wait, 10 seconds. I'm really curious. And there's no right and wrong, okay? Goal of the proposal. Love it. How to solve the problem. Yeah, these guys are actually really correct. But there's a better way to start the presentation. You start with, you know, Jamie, we've been working together on this project with your team for the last 4 months. I've put together our best thinking, and I believe the solution we will present today aligns exactly with your expectations. At the end of our presentation, our goal is for you to have everything you need to make a confident decision on how to move forward. Does that align to you with your thinking? So when you set this up, they will say, what is the plan after submitting the proposal? Because again, the challenge that we have when we submit proposals, we show the solution and that's it. Okay, we'll get back to you. But this, you're setting the stage. What do you guys feel about this? You're setting the stage, right? Like, okay, this is align with you. You'll tell me if I did well, or give me feedback, and this is how we will proceed. Or great, perfect proposal, let's go. Right? That's what you expect from them. Any feelings? Some people are like, oh my God, Ren. I was like, thank you, Jamie. By the way, you guys know more your clients and your culture. So I live in Australia, New Zealand. Like, we're very upfront here. And I think that's the same in America. But if you come from where I was born, the Philippines, people go around in circles, right? We don't have that time. Time is essence. Okay, another one. If it's a competitive bid, you know that there's a few proposals. This is what I would say. And by the way, you can now use AI stuff to frame up your script, right? Where you're comfortable with. We appreciate the opportunity to be here today. We understand you're evaluating three vendors, everyone with its strong solutions, and we recognize that this is important for you. Now, we've put together our best thinking, and we believe that the solution we present today exactly aligns with your expectation. Remember, you've been working with them for a couple of months, right? So, at the end of our presentation, our goal is for you to have everything you need to make a confident decision forward, whether it's us or the other two. Does that align with your thinking? So, kind of soft, right? But that's another one that you can try. And practice this with confidence, with a friend, a peer, an office mate, because if it's the first time for you to do this, you're kind of stall and not be very comfortable. And then when you ask this, stop, zip it, don't say anything, okay? Because the tendency is like if there's silence that we don't talk, but you're gonna feel, and then they're gonna be like, yeah, thank you, or I don't know what they're gonna say, right? But if they're very serious, they're gonna say like, that sounds good, we'll give you feedback, or we'll move forward, right? Cool. Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah. That would be good, Bob. Practice, practicing, right? I know, like it's really good, and just be very comfortable with it being very natural. I would also record myself, like if you use like a Zoom or a Teams, just record yourself, see how you hear. I know we're spending a lot of time presenting, but guys, this is it. This is the moment. You're gonna close the deal. Let's make it right, right? So. Last one that I want to really share is the clear proposal. Oh, I think this is the last of the second because we're gonna handle how to manage objections very fast. That's like one whole session. So clear proposal and drive value. I gave you if you receive my email, hopefully CEOs, founders, people who are making decisions, they don't want to read a whole lot of paper, right? They just want to make sure. So if you really have a complex solution, you can make it as attached. But the first page, all you want them to see is what will I achieve? What is the problem I'm solving? What will the results I get? If you can make it numbers based, you're going to generate, your SLA will be 40% increase, or will cut down X amount of time. You got to make it clear what problems you're solving and what's the value to them. And if you can't, then that's a real red flag because it means our proposal doesn't have enough value, or it's a wrong client, or it's a wrong solution. Then you step back, right? Go back to the drawing board. Then who's impacted, the cost, then what's your approach? Then that's the approach, how you're going to solve it, right? And benefits and impact and why you. So a lot of this is a common mistake I've had, especially when I was in corporate. We always start when I was at Alcatel-Lucent, now Nokia. We always start with who we are, which is really wrong, right? Like, what is it for me? What is it for us at the end of the day? And why us? Oops, sorry, I skipped several. So yeah, and then why us and the investment, right? Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Okay, so the next one. How to manage objections. Now, we only have a few minutes, so I'm going to run through it. In my course, this is like 1.5 hours, right? Objections and negotiations. So, the reality is you can't substitute. good negotiation for bad selling, right? We should receive less pushback on price if we've done a good job of agreeing on financial value during the opportunity qualification phase. And in the resources phase, we should have already qualified the amount of investment they're willing to make for the desired results. Or if it's a logistic issue like payment terms, right? So hopefully, you've built enough rapport and relationships with the key stakeholders to really have a very open conversation. But still, clients will always ask for discount because they have to. And if you're working with a big corporate, because that's their KPI, I was told that purchasing departments are required to have 10 to 15% discount on the first proposal. That's their goal. That's their KPI. They need to get that. That's standard, right? And also they know that salespeople are desperate, that as soon as you ask them for a discount, okay, I'll give you 20% discount, right? Without any questions at all, which is really bad form, which means like our price is not real. So in this very short few minutes, all I'm saying is you want to concede slow, small, and price is the last thing that you're talking about. You've resolved everything they're about to sign, okay? So this is a framework on managing price negotiations. So let's say they say, hey Bob, give me 20% discount, right? You get that all the time. So acknowledge it and slow down. And you go like, okay, Ren, I appreciate that you actually want a 20% discount. You know, this is one form that I always ask, and people just like get surprised. I would say, what do you think? How do you think we should do it? That's a good idea, Bob. Yeah. How do you think we should do it? I would ask, if I'm Bob, I would ask my client, why do you think we should do it? And then they get really surprised. I'm like, what do you mean? Because at this time, you've already spoken about their objectives, what the value is, what their budget, and suddenly they're asking for a discount, right? So I would ask, how do you want to do it? Do you want to change the scope? Do you want to change the timeline? Right? So understand the real issue behind it. And if your client is really serious about working with you and solving their problems, then there's going to be a conversation instead of just giving that discount. So acknowledge, understand, and resolve. So, Bob, that's a good question. But the reality is, I always put results on value, right? So if they say I want to have, and I don't know, this is difficult, give me 10% discount, I will ask, how do you think we should do it? Because earlier conversation, you've already spoken a range. So do you think we need to cut this? We need to slow down? How it is? So I'm hoping, Bob, that makes sense, because in the lightning lesson 2, we've spoken about very detailed how to handle pricing conversations before proposal, because you're already framing there what they can afford with the results that they want. But it also depends on you, because my lesson in big deals, when you put buffers, it really feels like your price is not real and you immediately give in. That's the wrong. But if you can put a buffer but still question them, like, how do you think you want to do it? That's also a good idea. All right. So key takeaways. Time is fast, 30 minutes. Proposals don't sell, people do. Build micro commitments throughout the sales process. And you can't substitute good selling for bad selling. I have a quick favor from you guys. Can you please share one key takeaway, please, that you have here that you think you want to apply immediately? Because I really love feedback of what you're getting from these lightning lessons. And I will stay for another 5 minutes for any questions. Nice, Brittany. Thank you. Perfect. Simple page. People sell, not words on paper. Awesome. Wow, I love it. I lived through this and tried to fix it on my hair. Yeah, I know. I know. All right. So would really if I'm gonna do so for founders, I have a very special pricing because I know how tough it is right now. I'll send an email. But yeah, I'm kicking off on December 3. I have a promo code here for winning sales at $250, but also I try to give like three seats for founders and also kind of like a well, it's not free, but I would give a kind of a scholarship for people who are really, getting involved and would help me promote the course as well. So watch out for that email if you're interested. And if you have any questions, please do let me know right now. So the course is 3 weeks. We meet twice a week and it's 1.5 hours. So in the Maven platform, you'll get everything. Like you'll get all of the thanks, Bob, for the feedback. You'll get all of the materials, templates, a playbook. Because the idea is at the end of the session, you have a full sales process that works for you. You've identified your client profile, you've identified your strategy, and then you have a full implementation book. That's what we want to achieve at the end of that 3 weeks. It's not only learning, but it's applying and winning sales. Like I have students who, for the first time close the deal, and it's accelerating, as what they would say. All right, Bob, review the proposal in steps with the client before you get to the final presentation. Fantastic. Exactly, right? All right. So, if you have any questions, do let me know. And I'm going to share you an example of, so this is one example of building your own sales management process. This is quite long, okay, because this is how I build it for mid-market. But for some companies, some smaller sole traders, or there's only five of you, we kind of cut it short. And what happens is for every step, you actually have a template of how you want to progress based on your own products and services, okay? So, yeah, that's it. And thank you. I have a newsletter. Connect with me on LinkedIn. I write about sales all the time. That's my passion. And love that you've spent time with me today. Thank you so much. Thank you, Jamie. Thanks, Brittany. Just end it. Um, and if you have any questions, want to chat in the next 5 minutes, I'm here. Thank you. Hey, Bob, how was that? I'll take off the recording.
Well, that was very good. In fact, I pulled up your page for your lightning lessons. I'm going to look at the previous two lessons too.
Oh, awesome. That would be great. I mean,